Preface. This book has been a long time in coming. A long time insofar as it's taken me a long time to get to where I am today with my life, my business, my craft, and my career. I've been in and out of the voice work realm off and on for the better part of 3 decades, mostly due to false starts, poor timing, and a few missteps. By far and away, though, the biggest reason why it took me so long to build a career as an independent voiceover artist, voice actor, and producer is that every time I brought it up to, well, whomever, be it a friend, a counselor, or most significantly a partner or spouse, they immediately poo-pooed the idea for any number of reasons. Some legitimate, most not. In short, it took me this long to get to where I am because I didn't have anybody that believed that this was a legitimate field that took real talent, real skill, and real work, and could make real money. Moreover, I didn't have anybody that really believed in me and believed that I could both do this and do it with some degree of success as a result. And that sucked. Things changed when I finally had a realization. I had just lost a job. I had actually been fired for the first time in my life. I was disabled, in my mid-40s, and really didn't have much by way of prospects. I really needed something to do that I could sustain physically, mentally, emotionally, and that I wouldn't resent doing like so many of the jobs I was physically suited to, also known as telemarketing and the like truly soul-sucking work. I had looked into professional voice work many times over the years after having dabbled in it in college. Generally speaking, I knew I could do it. It was always a matter of time, technology, space, acoustics, cost, connections, or the dreaded look from a partner or spouse when I mentioned it and they gave me that, "Could you please just get a real job?" look. Well, that evening, sitting on my front steps waiting for my then partner to get home from work in order to tell them the job loss news, it dawned on me. I know I can do this. This thing keeps calling to me. It has, over and over through the years. There's got to be a reason for that. Fine. No one else believes that I can do this. Nobody else even thinks it's worth trying. But I do. I just need to start and not let anybody or anything get in my way. And to cut a very long story short, I did do it. Frankly, I'm still doing it. But interestingly, if you, the listener, translate it to voiceover work, you're only partly right. The greater it I refer to is believing in myself. That, my good reader, is the big it, the key it. The most important it there is. There are very few purposeful ventures that succeed when the main player doesn't have a decent amount of belief in themselves, their skill level, their tenacity, their artistry, their mission. Self-doubt is always there to one degree or another, yes, and it's not unhealthy to experience it from time to time. Hell, even the most accomplished and self-confident people do. But keeping doubts from disabling you, pulling you off course, or worse, getting you to turn around and go home, is a skill that the successful ones learn in order to take that doubt and turn it into useful energy that aids them. More on that later. I have been fortunate to have a few great examples of successful self-made voiceover entrepreneurs that I have learned from. I know none of them personally and have had very little interaction with them. The internet is a great and vast repository of DIY information for both good and ill. The people whose advice and technique I've followed all have one major thing in common. They all came to VO the same way I did. They were at a turning point in their professional, artistic, or personal lives, and suddenly they were faced with the old problem of nothing to do and all the time in the world to do it. Now, that's obviously simplistic. Having a personal life or family to support and no income to do it with is a pretty strong motivator to turn the burners up to high and get cooking. But so many of us get thrown by an unexpected bump in the road. The experience could almost be argued as part and parcel of modern life. Interestingly, though, one thing I've noticed in myself and in the story of others is the common timing of really throwing down and going for that niggling long-term dream thing right at these major turning points in life. It's almost as if the subconscious has been standing off stage left in the wings, patiently waiting for their cue to walk out, turn to you, and say, "Finally, all those distractions are gone. Now it's time for us to really get to work. We've been waiting a long time for this, haven't we?" And if you're listening to this, I bet you have. But the question of where to start is nearly as daunting as the real question you're trying to learn the answer to: how to start. To take it a step further, I guess I was looking for help in deciding whether or not to start at all. In the sea of DIY internet information, there's a lot to wade through. Too much information for some. Honestly, most. The one thing I really looked for when I was setting out on my voiceover journey wasn't readily available. There were already a slew of
do voiceovers at home, be your own boss, work in your pajamas and make piles of money
how-tos and guides, but while they did provide some useful information, honestly, they really were nothing more than funnels that the author used to get you to buy more training or services from them. No harm nor foul there. Everybody has their model. But I didn't have $30 for a book that upsold a career to me that I then needed to buy $2,000 worth of training and/or equipment to even try out. More than anything, I simply wanted a halfway decent description of the career, what it took to get started, and maybe a bit of what to expect from it. I didn't need all the minutiae in the first bite. Not unlike the guidance counselors of my academic youth, I wanted someone to give me an abridged description of the career, a condensation of the skills needed, a description of the tools of the trade, and maybe a bit of a roadmap in the event I decided to go on the journey. Essentially, again, like the good old middle school counselor experience, I wanted the one sheet on, "So you want to be a butcher." I wasn't ready for learning how the sausage got made yet, and I knew that. And that's where this little guide comes in. This audiobook and the companion ebook are tools you can use to answer a few basic foundational questions.
Is this career potentially a good fit for me?
What do I need to get together and/or master to get going?
Do I have what it takes to succeed at it?
What are the pitfalls?
What are the real versus perceived benefits of this kind of part-time or full-time work?
Those questions need to be asked and answered before you can really benefit from any other kind of education and training in voice work or audio production. The absence of this kind of book was a major stalling point in starting my own career. It kept me in doubt and kept me from even starting the process of exploration. The existence of this book is my attempt to get that stalling point out of your way. And if the shoe fits, get you stepping out on your very own journey towards independent voiceover success. If I so desired, this book could certainly be shorter, but my own learning style has always gotten the most from storytelling, information or teaching that also provided a sense of the personality that was giving me the benefit of their experience. It felt more like a shared journey that way, and buoyed my enthusiasm when I felt I was stuck or mired down in the process. I hope you feel that sense of encouragement as we move forward, because if you take only one thing away from this book, it's that you can, in fact, do it. I did, and I believe you can too.